let's go to 2021. We're back in the present time. And Kurt, we'll go to you because you actually have a game tonight against the Raptors. So thank you again for joining on short notice. But the question of the hour is the solutions that you guys use, whether it's remote, whether it's safety, whatnot, what carried over from 2020 into your current regular season now? You can start as the NBA representative on the call.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is that everything evolved. It got even more complex and more detailed on our end. The thought processing of what happens if somebody in this room does contract the coronavirus. Does the whole room go out?
Right.
So in scheduling, I've created this, A, B, C, D, E, and O, F crew, if necessary, and tried to keep as many people apart from each other as possible. And taking my crew up into the numbers of 60 people to be able to think about, what happens because we play every other day. And we could wipe out A through D in 1 week. And then to our organization trying to always be on the forefront of, how do we get fans back in the building and adding in the COVID dogs. So every game now we have, dogs here stationed, and tonight is actually our first game where we're welcoming back 3,000 plus fans. So 10 different locations these dogs are going to be placed. It takes about 4 seconds. The dog walks around you. If it sits, you're going home. If it stands and it greets you, you keep coming on in. So just things like that. Where do we give people a safe place to relax themselves?
Right.
So closing off public water fountains, you don't think about that. And then we're 3 or 4 games in, and all of a sudden I'm like, wait a minute, my crew has no access to water.
That's true. You don't have to think about that stuff. Continue. Sorry.
Then buying cases of water to have them living in the control room so that people can have them. But sorry, you can't drink it in here. We got to go find another place for you to drink this. So the things that don't have anything to do with what our actual job is, I would say, is the hardest part of all of this. And the ever evolving part of this, depending on who you ask and whose input you're getting at that point, what level you need to take it to. So ours continuously evolving. We started with 0 fans. We went to 150. We jumped to 500. We did a couple games with 1,500. And now we're at 3,000 tonight. And every step of that changes our procedures.
Right. You got to stay nimble, start trying to stay you're adapting to the scenarios, because the more and more people, you mentioned it, the more possibility that God forbid a virus can kind of happen. So I guess the AAA is now an international airport with the dog. And one takeaway is you want to stay away from the letter Z, because if you're getting close to the Z crew, that's not good. That's not good.
Yeah, I think that's one guy.
Okay, good. Well, okay, so he is the last line of defense. Based off what you were mentioning about water bottles, I spoke with Matthew Tate from the NBA, and they're doing a lot of their away broadcasts from Toyota Center, and they're talking about no one can bring in the food, so they're ordering food. They have to worry about bringing that food in, and sometimes the parking garage door is locked. So they're like, now they're a valet attendant. So you guys are wearing many different hats just to make sure that the show keeps on going and keeps on progressing on. So stick taps to you guys. So Allan, I'll get to you after Carl. I haven't talked to Carl in a bit. Carl, your season starts in a couple months. April. Okay.
Yeah.
So my question for you is, will the productions stay the same? I know I sound like a broken record. Will they stay the same in April? And what production solutions are you going to bring from last year to the upcoming season?
For the most part, it will stay the same towards what we did towards the end of the year. So we started bringing a little bit more crew in. We started using some of our own cameras towards the end of the year. We still haven't completed some of our contractual obligations with our vendors. So they're actually going to all start coming back in as they were last February, to come in and finish up just some more of their contractual game day support obligations for our first 3 games. So that will be nice to have them in the building. We're going to run full shows with our full entire crew. We're going to try to push the envelope as if it were, a full game day crew run, all of our elements, obviously not having some of the live fan interactive things that we used to do, but we're going to put every butt in the seat in our control room with whatever makes them feel comfortable. But to Kurt's point, everybody in our control room staff is going to know a secondary and third position. So if somebody's out, I'm jumping in, I'm producing and running clips at the same exact time. And, maybe someone's running expression during pregame, they're running Dreamcatcher during the game to do replay, which we did last year in a smaller crew where I doubled up on a position and some of my other guys have doubled up in some positions. So, and then we also put it out to our marketing staff. You want to get involved in some live production? Well, here's your opportunity. Right. Being that they were allowed in the building and they were part of some of our testing protocols. You want to come in and learn? Well, now you can get your opportunity to learn and get some hands-on experience. So we have second and third options available. But yeah, it's going to be exciting because we're going to be able to hopefully run our show the way we envision it this year. And then obviously with the whole HDR aspect, there's always room to improve and learn more and more and more about that. And we did last year, and we hope to be able to show that to more fans. And then I would say for all of us, we have a responsibility to be informative with all of our signage in our stadiums. And one thing that we learned last year is just talking to the small group of 2,000 fans that came out for the 4 games last year. And we learned that, all the signage that we have, all the new signage we have in our building and how informative we were, whether it be through our IPTV systems on the concourse or through some signages on our LED or on our video boards. People felt comfortable. People knew what they had to do, where to go, who to ask. It wasn't intruding, but it was informative. And I think that we have a responsibility to do that, and we'll probably continue to do that this year.
Okay. Organization-wise, it shows a lot of teamwork that everyone's kind of willing to learn those new roles. And plus, it's a resume builder for those folks. They can say, hey, I do marketing, but on the side, I also run Everts or EVS, and the like. Allan, you're up now, buddy. You're in the off season, a couple of weeks under your belt because Super Bowl ended. What worked and what didn't work? Pretty plain and simple.
That's the hardest question because you could say what didn't work, but at the end of the day, it kind of worked because we weren't ready for this. I don't think anybody was. So we're constantly every day just trying to figure out how to do things and get better at it. We invested in the product Easy Live to help us do remote virtual production. So for draft, that was a valuable tool for us. And then we started using that more and more. We're doing shows called Vikings at Home that go live out. Right now it's every other Thursday. So, we just, you learn the virtual world or you try to learn it. You ask other resources of how do you make this happen. And I always will stand by my argument of saying hire people that are smarter than you, get your ego out of the way, because they're just going to be the one that helps you get to what you need, the ultimate goal. And what worked really well for us, to be honest, is sponsorship fulfillment. We really did not miss a beat there. And we were pretty high in the league from revenue retention from our partners. So we just found other ways to incorporate them into, like I said, whether it be a virtual show, the pre and post game show, just different content pieces. And we did a really good job with our sales team and partnerships team of all right, how do we keep this money coming in? And like I said, we were pretty high on retention in the league, so it worked. But it, like I said, going back to what didn't work well, it was kind of like there were things that were going to fail and you knew it because we just didn't know. And it was a learning experience every step of the way. And like I said, I swear by the rule of hire people who are smarter than you and you'll be all right.